What's going on, YouTube? Is Donnie B all day. Got a little update. So I bought this piece of kydex, right, off eBay, and I figure I'm going to try and make my own kydex sheath for my own knife that I made. Because I made this knife, it obviously didn't come with a sheath. I had to create my own. I have never made a kydex sheath before. So what I did is I just took this, I heated it down the middle enough to where I can get a point to where I can fold around this knife. Then I just took a trusty dusty heat gun and I heated it. What's up? And oh, there goes it. Hey. Hold on a second. All right. My gym partner came and she's getting ready to run before we hit the gym, so of course the dogs go mental. So basically, let's get back onto this. I took it, I heated it just on one edge and then started folding it. Once I folded it, I held it in place from where I wanted it up the actual handle and just did a whole lot of this. Just went back and forth to each area, not the whole thing, but to each area I wanted to work, all right? So once I had it warm enough to move, that's all I did is start pressing it. Started holding it with my thumbs and pressing it, and you can see that just by pressing it, or right there, I just got that little indentation right there. So now you see, like right here, I can see where the blade is. Let's see on this side, you can't really see it right there. Let's see if we can't make that pop out real quick. You just get a little bit of heat. You want to heat it not to where it obviously melts and becomes drippy, but you just want it soft. And that's it. Just get it soft. So now that it's soft, I'm going to use my thumbs. It's hot. Don't forget that. It's hot, but I'm going to use my thumbs to just work the plastic, work the kydex, and smush it out. And I could just keep repeating this process over and over again. But look at that. Now we can see the knife. So I get it to that point, and what's going to happen is I'm going to knock some holes in here, and then I'll cut off the excess. And all I did is take a pair of scissors, and I cut that once I had it to pretty much this. So I'll cut it around like here, and then with some of the holes here, what I'll do is I'll use some of this remaining piece to make myself a belt clip, and I will attach that. But apparently making a kydex sheath is pretty easy. And I know there's a better way to do it. I could build a press with wooden foam and do that. This literally took me about a minute or two. About a minute. Is it perfect? No. But it's going to get all together eventually. And when it does, it's going to hold my knife. So, you know what I mean? That's going to be pretty good. And hopefully I won't have too much wobble in it, but I don't really care. But so far, that's what I'm looking at. And I'll tell you what, that's not so bad. It's a kydex sheath. Look at that. All I did is heat gun, and I bought some thin kydex. So I think for the next one, I'll probably go with a thicker kydex. But literally, all I have to do now is just heat and smooth, heat and smooth, heat and smooth until I have it to where I want it. And I'm not overly particular on how smooth it is. I really don't care, because it's just for me, and it's going to be just for batoning wood. So I honestly don't need it to be perfect. I don't really, this isn't an everyday carry knife, so it's not going to be on display. I'm not selling this sheath, you know what I mean? This isn't something that I need to make perfect so buyers see it and say, oh wow, I really want one of those. No, this is just an easy project to hold a knife. That's it. And now I'll just shore it up, and I'll put a little belt clip on there. Boom. Bada boom, bada bing. That's not too bad. So this will right here, I'll smooth this out. As a matter of fact, watch it. See that bubble right there? Let me see. I think you can see that bubble right there. But I'm going to take out that bubble in seconds. I'm just going to heat it. And get rid of it. So Should have heated the other side too. So here it is on the other side. Most of the process is literally just making a plastic warm. And then, I mean, I don't know, you guys can't really see that, but it's so easy to manipulate and to work out with your hands. And so that's it. That little bubble right there, that was all the way up here, is now gone. It actually holds the shape there a little bit more. Look at that. That's the other side. I gotta do that one. But that's it. All I gotta do is heat and press, and that'll go down, although that's getting cut off, so it really doesn't matter. But a kydex sheath for like $5 of material, and all I needed to do was heat it. And you could use, I'm assuming, a hair dryer. You know, if you don't have a heat gun, use a hair dryer. But look at that. That's a kydex sheath right there. All I gotta do is clamp it, shape it, put on a belt clip. That's it. Wow! So, all right, so I got a new idea. Instead of Chicago screws, I'm going to use some tarp rivets. And I'm going to tarp rivet 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? And what this is going to do, it's going to give me some... Drop it. It's going to give me some drop it gigantic lashing points that are going to be fantastic. And I'll be able to easily hold on the belt clip that I'm going to make for it. So right now all I have to do is drill 4 holes into this thing, and let's see, got my chuck key, and let's see. So I'm going to take this big ass bit right here, and I think I have to lower my table. Alright, so let me get it all set up. Alright, well that was easy. So now I'm going to put 4 very calculated, and when I say calculated, that means I'm just going to drill a couple holes in there and I don't care where they go. So I'm going to put 4 holes into this sheath, and I'm going to use my rivet to figure out where I want my holes to go. One of them is going to be right there. So let me move this guy and begin. So what I want to do is open up my hole just a little bit. That didn't come out right. So I got to make sure that my rivet is going to fit through there. So I got to just give it a little bit of space. And once I get it to where I can push it through, I can make my next hole. A little bit more, a little bit more. That's it. So that's what it's going to be, and then I'll go ahead and shave it around. But that's going to be it. I'll take the next part and I'll pound it on there. So I'm going to do 3 more holes. All right, so partway through, I realized I'm not exactly in a rivet shortage here, so I might as well just make a whole bunch. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start putting them in, but I'm not going to put in these top 2 because that's going to hold on my, what do you call it, my belt clip. So what I'm going to do is take a bunch of these and start sticking them in there. And then I'm going to hammer them on home with my little rivet punch. And so you can see that it's going to look, you know, like that when it's all done. The lashing points will be great. And it's going to hold this thing closed without a doubt. And you can see I ended up just eyeballing the measurements, but you can see, you can see that it's right along the edge. So with those in there, let's see if they won't pop out if I throw this in there. With those in there, I should be perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. The edge is going to hold in real nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the sander, and I'm going to follow this line all the way around and make it really smooth. So, you take the part that, well, let me see, I know, oh, I have them all in there. But you take the part that has the piece sticking out, and then you take the washer, and first you put the piece that on there, and you put the washer on top, and then you either take your hammer, or in my case, I'm using the axe gang from Cold Steel, the old Walking Dead Rick axe. You put that on there, and you hammer it down. I need something more solid here, so I'm on a slat. And basically, that's it. And now I have a complete piece in there, and all it is after this is just repeat process. So I'm going to go ahead and finish all those. I'll show you when it's done. Alright, so just like that, I'm ready for my next step, and that is to make my actual belt loop. But as you can see, these guys are on there. They're all tight. They're not going anywhere. Let's make sure the knife still fits in, and it is perfect. So now that these are in there, what I can do afterwards is I can reheat this thing and then smooth out some of the wrinkles if I want. I don't know if I care to, but I could. It would just make it a lot easier to smooth it out now that it's all being held together. But as for now, it's time to make a belt loop. Alright, so let's get everything cleared out of the way here. And for the belt loop, I'm literally just taking a piece of this, I'm folding it over, I'm going to match the two holes that are in there, and I'm going to screw it in. So first things first, I need to cut a strip away that is going to be wide enough, and what I want to do is I want to place it beyond, obviously, where they're going to, and that's it. It's just going to sit just like that, fold it over, voila. So this is how wide I need it. Now I take my trusty scissors and I just give myself a little mark. That's where I want to cut, and I want to cut a straight line, or as straight as possible, all the way up. And I'll get my scissors stuck. There we go. So this right here is going to be my belt loop. What I need to do is just heat it a little bit. So let me plug in the heat gun, if I can find the end of it. Alright, so here comes the easy part. I just want to heat it enough to be able to bend it to get it started. Then I'm going to actually take the belt that I normally wear and form it around the belt. I'll show you what I mean. Uh-oh, dropped it. I'm dropping everything today. So, just going to heat this up right in the center till it gets all malleable and bendy like this. So, that right there is my beginning. I'm going to let this sit just like this for a second and harden up. And now I'm at a point where I can let it go, and it's a belt loop. So, alright, so this is what I realized. This piece right here is long enough to hit two belt loops. Two rivet holes, but then the belt loop itself would be too small for a standard size belt. So what I'm going to do is go one higher, and instead of going through two, I'm just going to go through one, and it'll be in there nice and tight, and it'll hold on pretty good. So now what I can do is just throw one of my rivets in here, go drill a hole there, put the rivet in there, and what I'll probably do is throw a little bit of glue on one side and give it a little better holding. All right, so hold on there. All right, so as you can see, this is what it's going to look like. I didn't hammer this one in yet or mold this. I'm going to drop a little bit of super glue on the back side of this. Then I'm going to hammer it in, and then I'm going to heat and massage it in there really nice. So let me get some super glue on there and get it all situated. So here we have it. It's all put together, right? You can see it. Got a little super glue on the wrong side, but that's okay. The knife goes in, the knife goes out. There's like no rattle in this thing. The belt loop holds. So far, so good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down to the belt sander, and I'm going to get rid of this hard edge right here all the way around. Then I'll pretty much be done. All right, so final step. I'm going to turn on the belt sander, which kind of looks a lot like that. And then I'm just going to smooth it over. So you can see how fast it works. It's just going to go real quick. Not going to spend a lot of time on this. I want to get it down at all points. At all points I want to get it close to the rivet so it's uniform. There we have it. I'm all done. I just made my first kydex sheath, and I'll tell you what, it works. So now I can put this thing on a belt, and if I'm at the camp and I need to process some wood and I need to break it all down, man, once you get off all the little boogers, this thing's nice and smooth. That's pretty good. Now I can use all these for lashing. I could use these to hang it. I can do anything I want with this now, and this is going to get the job done. And I went from a knife that had to sit by my fireplace or be carried without a sheath to a knife with a sheath. And all I did is spend $5 on kydex. Oh, that's it. These I already had, but if you're going to spend, they cost next to nothing. You get them at Harbor Freight dirt cheap. It comes in an entire package. I mean, you get like 100 sets of these. And then that punch is nothing. You're probably spending $5 on that. So, I mean, I made the knife. The steel is some bar steel that I had, some 1080. You can get that for $10, maybe less. The scales cost me $10. The rivets here in this knife, they came from my aluminum rod. And I bought an entire aluminum rod that I can do 15 knives with, maybe more. And I think I spent $5 on that. So I'm literally looking at like $25 spent, you know what I mean, or $30 spent for the sheath, you know what I mean, the sheath material, the blade material, the handle material, the rivets, the pins, everything. The rest is all just, you know, tools that I happen to have. If you have a sander, then that's all you need. And that's pretty much what I made this with, was a belt sander. That's not too bad. So now I have my first ever kydex sheath, my first attempt at ever making a kydex sheath. You guys got to see it right here live on Donnie B all day. You know, what is it going to do? It's going to hold a knife. That's exactly what I needed to do. The blade is not going to come out. I can't even wiggle this. It's not going to come out of the end because the blade tip is right here, and it's seated right there because I molded it. So it's all molded to where this knife can't go any farther down. It can only come out and it goes right back in, and it's smooth. It's smooth. Once you mold it, you want to take the fattest point of your handle that's going in, and that was this point for me where it swells, and I brought it there once it was all done, and then I reheated it and I molded it to that point. That way it goes in without problem. Guys, super easy. If you want to make your own knife and you're thinking, well, that's great, I made a knife, but now what am I going to do for a sheath? That was really easy, and you don't need these big brass rivets. This is just the cheapest, easiest way to get it done. I happen to have them already, so I went with it. Let me see. The knife is in there. Look, I'm not holding the blade down. The knife is in there. It holds in really well. Hey, my first attempt. That's pretty good. This thing is going to be able to be on a belt and carried into the woods, and when I need to baton through some firewood, this is what this thing is good for, right? And if I need it as a fighting knife, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of this thing. It's a beast. So that's it. Gonna be all day. First ever kydex sheath. Not too bad. It's not pretty, but it works. I like it. I'm down to be all day. Until next knife.